Welcome to the Global Pulse, a short video series where our experts break down a trending topic in international business and why it matters to you.
Hello. We will talk today about recent news that Mexico is considering giving some tax incentives to attract companies from industries like semiconductors, electric vehicles, batteries, electronics. Does it make sense? If you think about, okay, they are giving those tax incentives, they will attract investment in those areas that will create more employment and maybe new skills in the population, and then that will work well for everyone. Yes, but there are so many assumptions that have to be right for this to work well, and they usually aren't. We see a pattern looking at other examples around the world that it's very rare that policies like this work. So let's step back and think about why. Okay, when companies are trying to make an investment decision, they will consider multiple factors, taxes being one of them. And but the taxes are, they will compare across different countries, but much more important are factors like, do you have the resources that you need, especially in those industries that require also a lot of knowledge, skilled jobs. So it's something that the major decision relies more on factors that are way more important than simply the tax level. Second issue with that is, once you start going through that route, other countries also match and try to attract the same industries with even more tax incentives. So where does this stop? There was a recent study that was published this week in Brazil comparing tax incentives in different states. They were competing for investments from companies. And what they found, it was a 10-year study. Usually that didn't bring any benefits to the states. The states are offering now 3 times more incentives than they were offering 10 years ago, for example. And you could not see any improvement. First, because investment went to those states that had more skilled labor anyway. So the investment went to regions that they would invest even if there were no tax incentives. Second, because also that didn't help a lot to build new skills in those states, because a lot of those jobs also, if you think about, okay, semiconductor factory, the value added of the manufacturing in a given country is not that much. The value added is in the design, is in the R&D, is in the machines. All those things will be brought into the country. So it's not necessarily helping to build new skills in that country or region. And also what this study done in Brazil found out was that the states had to charge more taxes to compensate for the losses that they had in attracting investments at a lower tax rate. So in the end, the population ended up paying the price for that, and the benefit was just additional profits to the companies that decided to go to those states. So in terms of public policy, it's not a very good move. In general, there are some exceptions, but in general, that's the pattern that we see. So what would be the best way to attract a company? You make your region, your country attractive by investing in education, by having skilled workforce. You may reshape your tax system to be a tax system that induces investments. If you do that overall to make the country more competitive, that's great. But once you are picking industries A, B, and C to give some tax incentives only for those industries, what about the other industries? They will become less competitive because of that. So this is something that it's better to act on the fundamentals that will attract businesses to your region than just giving a tax incentive for specific industries. Let's see how that unfolds over time. But my view is that this will not be a very effective way to build skills, to build long-term growth for the country.